Welcome to Video Bites from the Packet Pushers. I'm Drew Conry-Murray. I am here with Dave Hegenbarth, and we are at AutoCon 2 in Westminster, Colorado. Dave, you're with Pliant. You were just on the big stage. For folks who may not be familiar, just give me the elevator pitch on Pliant.
Absolutely. So we're a low-code, no-code development platform. The secret sauce behind it is we've taken over 240 different developers' APIs, brought them into the platform, and created what we call action blocks, these magical drag-and-drop blocks that people can use to build out automation and orchestration without having to write a single line of code.
Okay, so you said a couple interesting things there. One, low-code, no-code, but then also development platform, and those phrases seem like they might not go together. So can we dig into how is a development platform, but I'm also not developing?
Well, it is a development platform, yeah. It's just, we use these, what we call drag and drop blocks. And those represent API endpoints that we've ingested from those 240 different vendors. And it really allows people to build automation and orchestration on a platform that is really, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so much easier to use because so much of what you need, the basis of what you need is already there.
So these blocks are coming from APIs of third-party tools? How does that work?
Yes, so the blocks are the actual API endpoints that are exposed by Juniper and Cisco and other vendors like ServiceNow. As I mentioned, there's 240, so we're not limited just to the networking space, but we do a lot in networking.
Okay, so if I had a switch and I wanted to do something with it using some tool, I essentially have a block for the switch and a block for whatever tool I'm doing, and I essentially just pull them all together in a GUI?
Yes, yeah. So those actions that you want to take, you can drag and drop on a palette and then go ahead and run those actions in the sequence. And because we support those different vendors, there's things like you can create a change control ticket, then make a change to a device, close the change control ticket.
Okay. So where do you see yourself fitting in the automation ecosystem?
So we see ourselves adding a lot of value in automation by allowing people that might not have a full programming background to actually create that automation. But we see even more value in orchestration, which again is that path of being able to take one vendor, like open a change control ticket in ServiceNow, then execute changes, even bring your Ansible playbooks right into a block, but execute the changes on the device, then close that ticket you opened. Tasks like that people really don't like to do, we make really easy.
How do you see the difference between automation and orchestration?
It's a great question. So I often talk about automation as a singular task. It might be something as easy as change a password on 1,000 devices, but they're homogeneous. They're all the same device. You're just doing one thing. Orchestration is that wrapping a ticket in opening a change control ticket, doing that automation, and then closing the change control ticket. That's where we see the beginnings of orchestration.
Okay.
Another very good example is building a virtual machine. I often say that no one wants a virtual machine. They really want a virtual machine that's in the right network. So you're interfacing with network gear. It wants the right IP address. So you're interfacing with IPAM. It wants a host name to go with the IP address you gave it, and so on. All the way through to, once it's built, it's a corporate asset. So you want it in a CMDB or in an ITSM platform, and you probably want to monitor it. So you want it in something like Datadog or SolarWinds or SevOne or whatever you're going to use to monitor. You want that end-to-end experience. And you can do all of that inside a Pliant by just dragging and dropping blocks, not writing lines of code.
And these automations or orchestrations or workflows that I'm building, are they ephemeral, or do I sort of can I keep them? Like, I know I use this set of blocks for this role, this set of blocks for that job.
Absolutely. So workflows can call workflows, just like in good programming. We're going to have things like, go get that IP address. I might use that a lot of different places,
Okay.
So we're going to reuse, absolutely. So you build a library of things that absolutely could be reused.
Do you see Pliant as being useful for just the network engineer, or can they also expose automations to other departments, almost as a service catalog?
Absolutely. So we go across the entire IT spectrum, really. We've done a lot with networking and wireless, but we've done stuff with HR applications. We've done stuff with billing and using credit card billing and things like that, all because the APIs are available. They're easily imported into the product, and then you drag and drop to get your outcome.
Okay. So Pliant was recently acquired by IBM. what's the relationship like with the big company?
Yeah, it's really a unique event. We've been brought into something that's called the Software Networking BU, which is fairly new inside IBM, and it's a bunch of companies they've purchased. So it has a startup atmosphere to it. So we got a bunch of little companies and a bunch of really interesting technologies that we hope to bring together and into the marketplace. And one of the things that Pliant brought to the table was that ability to go interact with so many different vendors to get configuration and to get data to bring into other products that might need it.
So one of the themes that's coming out today around AutoCon is the resistance in some places to automation is a feeling of I can't trust it or I'm not confident in it. Are there things Pliant can do to help me like either test or ensure that a job that I've run actually finished?
Again, we're a development platform, so it sort of keys in on the person who's building that automation to build those checks into it.
Okay.
We're hopefully getting them to the point they do that quicker.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's going to be on them to sort of bring that in.
But you give them the capabilities to
Absolutely give them
okay.
the capability to do that, though. Yeah.
Okay. What's sort of your ideal customer, or what kind of customer do you think would come to Pliant on their sort of automation maturation journey?
Yeah, so some of our best friends are in operations. They're the guys that have the biggest problems to solve. Their purview is of multiple different technologies, which we're great at pulling together.
Mm-hmm.
And we give them the ability to build automation and orchestration to solve those problems. And they have the ability to then publish that back. So I talked a little bit, or I think earlier, about the API gateway. So without writing code, I can publish a webhook that they can automate, or there's a small UI. So the end users, if you have just tier 1 people that need certain operations, they're not qualified to actually be on the device or whatever, you're going to plug that in there. And we see people building over time. You start with simple automations, a little larger orchestration, but because we can serve the community both in the network team and in the server team, the storage team, and others, they can really begin to build meaningful cross-domain orchestration.
And with working in a GUI and working with blocks, is that limiting, or do you feel like there's still room for creativity inside the Pliant?
There absolutely is room for creativity. I mean, you down to, if you really want to write code, you can write it inside a block.
Okay.
You can bring all of your existing automation as well. So your Python scripts, your Ansible playbooks, your PowerShell for Windows, all of that can be brought in. Again, all these teams can use this platform to really achieve some cool outcomes.
So last question, if people want to find out more or maybe play with Pliant, where should they go?
That's a great question. We were acquired by IBM. IBM has renamed the product a little bit. So right now we're known as Rapid Network Automation within IBM. Okay. And you can find that on the IBM website.
Okay, so that's IBM Rapid Network Automation if you're looking for Pliant. Thank you, Dave, for joining us.
All right, thank you.